talking to Joe Little from the Rude Boys,
Oh,
and
okay.
I was doing an interview, and I said it's what's amazing is that if you were an NBA player or football player, you've got a talent, and your agent gets you a deal with the club, and you get a big salary, big advance, and they take care of everything. If you're a recording artist, everyone comes to see how can we sap your energy, and knowing that, well, if we do all that, you may not be great at what you're doing. I- How soon did you realize that it isn't? There's two sides to this. There's the singing part,
Well,
and
let's go back because you
okay,
hit a couple of things, okay? And the one thing I say the same thing that you say is when you're when you're a sports person or whatever. Now, to me, it's different when you are given a whole bunch of money, and if you choose to go and buy 80 houses and cars, and that's on you, right? That's on you. It's
yeah,
sad because there are a lot of athletes who may not have money after getting those major big deals, but 90% of Black artists, because I can only speak for myself, you're not giving nowhere near that kind of money, nowhere near that kind of a public. You're already in the negative starting. They don't
mm,
even give you a head start. Like, that's the only thing about I'm going to go from the Black music world that I take an issue with, because it's not even like after you're 3, 4, 5 albums in and you just want to, take a break or whatever you want to do, right?
yeah,
You're not offered any position on ESPN as a sportscaster. You're not offered any position coaching for that basketball team or for that college team. You have nothing. You're just left out there in the world, right?
mm,
That's so not only do they suck the blood out of you, like you mentioned,
yeah,
which takes away the energy from what you're really, you have to go out there and perform every night. Where NBA players, they get the cool baths, they get the massages,
yeah,
whatever it is for them to perform at their best,
yeah, yeah,
they have it, correct?
yeah,
But as an artist, you don't have that protection. You know what I'm saying? There's nobody really there to protect you. You have to protect yourself. Because even monetarily, the only way you're really gonna make money is to keep doing shows and to keep writing and and to keep publishing this and to keep your record label interested. Now that's a whole nother thing, because if that last album wasn't number one like the album before,
yeah.
their interest is going down, down,
Wow.
down. You see what I'm saying? So, and what's going down with the interest is the budget, right? That maybe you got a big budget for the last album, but well, we got to go by what you did last
Yeah.
time. What about that? We got to go by how many records you sold the last time.
Mm,
This is what artists face, and that's why I go back to what I said before. You have to love it, because the business part of it
wow.
will leave you really so you don't have that where you're given $50 million for a 5-year deal. That's if artists had something like that, you can make an investment, you could do that,
Yeah.
you can live. So that
Yeah.
if you 5 albums down the road, if you're not number one, you're okay though.
Yeah.
That's not what Black artists are afforded. I mean, not any that I know of. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
No, and as I said, as fans, all we saw was the videos and the songs, and we
Mhm,
did not realize that there was behind the story stuff,
mhm.
behind the scenes stuff. But you're fortunate your first album went platinum,
Yes.
um, and then you come out with your second album, All Day, All Night,
Mhm.
and off the back you have Get Out. That was another big hit. As I said, I can't
Yes.
remember if it came out in the summer and stuff, but
Yes, that was the summer. That was the start of
okay,
summer. Get Out was the start of summer. And I was like, what in the holy hell? We going again with this slow song in the start of summer. And that one was bigger than Stroke You Up. Get Out.
but then
Mhm.
for you guys, then did you go back to writing majority of All Day, All
Mhm.
Night?
Mhm. Yeah, we wrote again. Forgive me for not remembering how many songs are on there, but we wrote the majority. If it's 13, we wrote 9. If it's 15, we wrote 10.
Wow.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you didn't get any pushback from the label, because normally what you sometimes get is like, oh, well, we want to get more control over this, so we're going to get our own people and stuff. But they were like, let's not break a winning formula.
Well, yeah, we didn't get pushback, and I believe personally, because we were where we are now in the industry, we were signed to an independent label that was signed to a major. Okay. So I think that actually helped us, because you have Spoil Rotten that is on your team. You know what I'm saying? That's okay. They're there to fight for you, kind of with that big label, and they're there to also make sure all the deadlines are met. You said we were coming out at this time and blah, blah, blah. So it's more than just you. So that whole independent element, actually helped out, especially like the first album, like they could have just shelved us and said, okay, we'll put you out next time. But I think, when you have that middle, like, person brokering everything, it kind of helps push things along.
So when Donnell says he was an Untouchables artist signed to LaFace.
The same thing.
And so now that you've said that, it makes sense, because they are the ones who said, if we don't get you guys out, we don't get paid. So we need you guys.
So you have more than one person that has a motive, right? You have more than just changing faces that has a motive, because and speaking of Untouchable, Kenny Smooth was a part of Untouchable with Eddie F or whatever. So he had his own label. That's who we were signed to. Isn't that weird? It's just a small world.
Okay. Yes. No, actually, Donnell, even when I interviewed Buddy Weeks from Intro. They talk so much about how Eddie was very honest, got them signed to ASCAP and all that stuff, so that they could get their own stuff, got them into all that stuff. So this is very rare to hear, somebody really taking care of the artists for the long term.
That's that whole team, the Untouchable team. Everybody was pretty on point, and honest.
When the second album comes out and it does well and everything, how does that change you?
Wow. The second album was a little sticky for me. It was joy and pain at the same time, because right when Get Out was climbing up the charts, my dad passed suddenly. So it was in a 2-month period. So it was a little, joy, pain. So again, that's when promo tours started. And you were back on that which, like, I'm with you now. Okay, we're second album in. You're already 2, you had Foolin Around, Stroke You Up, this, that. I mean, you had Stroke You Up, Foolin Around. So we're back to a long, drawn out summer promo tour. And, but we couldn't even be mad, because who does that? You're back out again with a slow song, and it's like top of the charts. We were just like, wow. And I don't know if it was second album or first album, but I'll tell you a little funny story. It was one of the 2 albums when the single was going up. I have to go back and do my research about which one, but I don't know why I feel like it was Stroke You Up, because Craig Coleman said he'd gotten a phone call, and because we were like greatest gainer and beating out, as you go up the chart or whatever, and the phone call was from Prince saying, who is this changing faces? Because Prince had just put something out and we were coming in just like, so I guess he looked at the label and called to find out who and what is changing faces. Because he's like, they're just, you get the greatest gainer, the greatest radio plays, the greatest, so when all those things were coming in, people started like doing research, like, who the hell are they?
Because you came out from nowhere. Wow.
From nowhere. Yeah.
Did you get to meet the great man?
Now, we met him, but by default, it had nothing to do with this. We were doing a studio session. Oh gosh, what's the studio on 8th Street? Jimi Hendrix studio. Mm. God, I'm sorry, but it's on A Street. It's on A Street in the Village. It's Popular Studio. If any musicians or artists are here, they'll know exactly what I'm talking about. We're there and we're recording, and we're in our studio. And the engineer from the next studio comes and says, "We're having technical difficulties in our studio. Would you just mind? We're at the final stages where he just needed to do, the end of his mix, even if it's just for half an hour." Guess who was in that studio? Prince. He came. His studio broke down, and they needed to use our studio. So we met him briefly, but I think I was probably so starstruck that I was just. And he thanked us for allowing him to use the studio and interrupting our time. But yes.
Was he very? We always see him as this quiet, shy little guy, but
he was. He's not. He wasn't a man of many words. He was, "Thank you guys so much," and it's like, well, you could have the studio, You're Prince. Are you kidding me? Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So we're sitting there like, wow, we just met Prince,
No autographs, no pictures, anything? Or you tried
to
play it cool?
We tried to play it cool because we're in the studio and it's like, we don't want to like bombard, which we should have taken advantage and got a picture because we let you use our studio at that time. Yeah. But yeah.
Oh my goodness.
It's all good.
I wonder if he remembered that you had changing faces that he called him.
That's what I said. Like afterwards, I said the same thing. I wonder if he remembered that he called Craig Coleman. I said the same thing. But he's Prince. He don't remember no little change in faces. But maybe if we would have just had the opportunity to mention it, remember when you called, But,
yeah, if he heard a song, he probably would have just related it and stuff.
He would have related it. Yes. Yeah.
I mean, but then you get, as I said, you've got 2 platinum albums. I mean, you're really standing out because I think what was happening in the 90s. I mean, towards the middle part, some of the second albums for some of the other R&B groups weren't doing as well. But you guys were doing you guys were continuing to lay out the hits and doing tours. What was your relationship with the other bands, other groups that were out there about that time?
I always tell people like the 90s was so much fun. Like when you got on tour with Guy and and Teddy Riley and when you get on a tour, it was like fun for you because you just want to go back to the dressing room. You kind of want to be the first one to go on. So you can go back to the dressing room, take the sweat off your face and watch. It was like such a great experience because you had so many great people on that tour that you loved, you honestly loved them. Like I would say, even with the girl artists, like with all the girl groups, it was just like so many, but none the same, none the same. And you could go to a show that had SWV on the lineup, In Vogue on the lineup, Escape on the lineup. I can keep going, Changing Faces, G.H.E.T.T.O.U.T, let's do that. Let's do G.H.E.T.T.O.U.T. Even if you had Changing Faces and G.H.E.T.T.O.U.T, you could close your eyes and you would know each and every group that was on that show. You would know the difference. So that's what I loved because every vibe was different. You know what I'm saying? It was no one like the other. And that's what made that time fun. Even for guy groups, maybe there may have been a couple, because men, their voices, because sometimes the range is not as, but outside of that, you can close your eyes and kind of know who's on that stage singing. And that's what I loved about the 90s. Because everybody had their own thing and they were not trying to be who they weren't. They were true to who they are. And I think that's why we felt the music so much.
Yeah, no, true. I mean, even with the guy groups, Blackstreet was different from Jodeci.
Yes.
Jodeci were different from Boys to Men.
Yes.
Even though Drew Hill, you could say were like a Jodeci, but they still had a different vibe and stuff. And I think the producers were really in their element, creating really good, memorable songs and things.
Yes, yes.
But you didn't have any fallouts with any of the
Oh
SWVs
no,
or Janae
no.
or
It wasn't that kind of party. Never did we have a fallout with anyway. I don't have that kind of news because we never had anything like that.
But
No.
so you have 94, your first album, then you
Mhm,
go 97, so the good 3 years, and then 2000,
mhm.
it's when you come with Visit Me. Um, the Other Woman, was that another R. Kelly track?
No, that was Joe. Joe, the music.
Oh,
Yes, that was Joe.
okay. Because
That
he
was Joe. I
started,
love that song. That was Joe.
yeah.
Yes.
Wow. So
Joe wrote
how did that come
that.
about? Where, because Joe, I mean, Joe is
Mhm.
probably very quiet,
He's
but really one of
it,
our, really
yes,
consistent.
all
I had
time.
all, yeah,
Yes, yes, yeah. That was Joe. That was, um, yeah, because we love Joe. Or like he's incredible in terms of his writing and producing. So we were like, we need Joe on the next album. And that's how that happened.
wow.
Yeah.
At that time, there wasn't, because if you had the formula with R. Kelly in the first two albums,
Hmm.
there wasn't a sense of, oh, we need to probably get another Kelly track, or was he just too big and busy? It's like, oh, we have to forget and change it out. So,
No, but he was on the album. But it wasn't no, yeah, we were just by that time you probably wanted to kind of switch it up a little. But it was still great. It was, yeah,
yeah,
that was Joe. People don't know that. And that's what's yeah.
no. As I said, I mean, Joe did a lot of stuff for Profile, because I interviewed
Yep.
LJ from
Mm-hmm.
Profile, and but
Mm-hmm.
as I said, his albums were consistently fire.
On point.
Yeah, every album he
Mm-hmm.
had. But I didn't
Mm-hmm.
realize I would. I'm sure people would have looked and see Joe Thomas, but I don't think we would have
Yes.
really thought. We would have thought R. Kelly actually did it.
Yes.
But
Yes.
wow,
That was Joe Thomas. Exactly. Yep.
and you still continued writing the majority of the songs with
Still
yourself.
then. Still then. Yep.